nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable on the Get to Know the defending USL champions, Orange County Soccer Club, who unfortunately for San Antonio beat us in PKs in Orange County last November. Joining me tonight is from the Orange and Black SoccerCast. Bradley, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. I have lovely people peeking their head out, wondering what I'm doing. I'm right now in the back alleyway of a theater parking lot. So, yeah.
And then there's Andy, who is the man behind everything, from my understanding, with Orange and Black SoccerCast. Good friend. If you follow him on Twitter, you always find an interesting conversation between us.
Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
So typically what we'll do is we'll talk about last year. Obviously, to me, the big talking point, Orange County won the title when, I'll admit, no one thought it was possible outside of Orange County. I am one of those that I thought, I didn't think you guys would get past us, and I sure didn't think you were going to beat the Rowdies away, but you guys did. Talk about changes in the offseason. I think the biggest one is the star forward Dumas leaving for that here and what kind of that's impacted. And then the start of the season. For Orange County, it's been kind of mixed results, 1-1-1 for that here. Some positives, though, recently compared to, the opening match. And then we'll dive into the San Antonio Orange County match just to kind of get a heads up to see what everybody is thinking. Usually Orange County, San Antonio, it's either nobody scores or one team scores a whole bunch and blows the other side out. So
yeah, that's pretty accurate over the last handful of years.
Since 2019, yeah, going back to, I think the only one that had teams winning was back in 2017 and 2016. Outside of that, San Antonio won 1-0 in Orange County. Orange County came back 2018 and won 3-0 both in San Antonio and in Orange County. And then 2019, a bunch of 0-0 draws. And then last year was 1-1, right, for the match. And then PK's 5-3. So a lot of fun history. We'll kind of, and then, we'll kind of talk about that. So to start out, Bradley, and I know you're on a short time frame before you got to get back to your work with the theater there. Your thoughts on last year? I know you're a little bit unique that you're in Reno, used to be, a Reno supporter until they're no longer around. And now you've joined Orange County. And, a great addition to the Orange and Black SoccerCast. Unfortunately, they paid a couple more dollars than we did. So, on your free agency. So, your thoughts on, last season and going through the playoff march that you guys went through?
Yeah, so, my honest thoughts on last season is I was pleasantly surprised, especially towards the end of the year, on hosting a playoff game at all, let alone every single game through the Western Final went through Orange County at that point, which was also a real surprise. But I was expecting first round would be a home win versus Colorado Springs, and then I don't think anybody was winning last year in El Paso until Oakland did it. In which case Oakland came into great championship soccer stadium, and the rest, I guess, is history. It kind of opened the door for, maybe something like this is possible. So definitely a pleasant surprise in that regard.
Yeah, the Oakland match, what stood out to me is the calls, and I'm not saying that they were wrong calls by any means, but Orange County got the calls late on the PKs, with the goalkeeper coming off the line. I kind of complained a little bit, if you're going to be that technical there, what about the guy taking, the PK, because he did pause his motion so ever slightly. So, and I know it's kind of gray in the rules and they don't call it, but for the, for the roots, like I said here, that was a tough way to go out, where they had that stop and then, Orange County got the second attempt and buried it, which, kudos to them. That's what you need for the ride.
I believe the technical term that my legal team wants me to use is no comment.
Andy, your thoughts on it?
If the ref doesn't call it, it's not a foul.
That's true. And in USL, it's very subjective when it comes to refereeing from game to game and referee to referee. So it is what it is. But your thoughts, Andy? I know you've been an Orange County fan for, as long as I've, known you through here, and one of the most diehards, probably going all the way back to the OC Blues, right?
Actually, I started following right at the end of 2016, was right before the rebrand happened. So I don't really have any official Blues history. I started following in the 2017 season when they were officially Orange County SC, and not for any reason. I found them just unluckily right after the season had ended, in the into November or whatever is when I came across the whole thing. But in terms of last year, it's one of those things where you I guess you have faith but not a lot of confidence. And it's no secret that we were not scoring a lot of goals. We had a lot of 1-0 wins and a lot of 2-1 wins. We were not blowing anybody out, and that was more by necessity than by choice. So going in, you're looking at all these teams that tended to have high-powered offenses, and then for us, a lot of it was, what's going to win? Is it going to be offense or defense? Because at the time, our back line was almost impenetrable between the four in the back and then Rakowski and net. I mean, it was hard to score on us. So we didn't score a lot of goals, but we also didn't allow a lot of goals that last stretch of, 8 or 10 games or whatever it was.
Yeah, after the coaching change, right? That seemed to be when things changed for Orange County last year.
Yeah, coach was, I don't know the official term. I think it was relieved of duties, whatever that means. And Richard Chapler was our assistant coach, and he got pulled in as the head coach with an interim label. And there for us, there were a lot of question marks around like that. Is this going to be better? Is it going to be worse? And I think it turned out, of course, in the end, it turned out to be better. But would it have been different if they had let Braden Cloutier stay on? It's hard for me to answer that question. That was when was that, Brad? In August, or I think is when that happened?
I think it was just after midway through the season. So that does sound pretty accurate.
Yeah, I would have to look to get the exact time frame. I just remember getting shelled by Tacoma, and I was actually on the road on a family trip and just getting shelled by Tacoma, and then hearing after the fact that this had happened.
It was wow. August 19th, so mid-August.
I was taking my kids to college. So,
in Texas,
watching
right?
that game remotely in a hotel room on your phone, and then that happening and just feeling just gutted, right? Like at that point, it's like, we're done. There's no way we're doing anything after this. And then Chaplow came in and turned things around, and there was an interesting comment. I think it was Devin Kerr. He made an interesting comment after talking to Chaplow, and we as a team we took a lot of. I say we like I'm part of it. As a team, OC took a lot of flack for the way that they played from other fans, from other coaches who will remain nameless. But there was a comment from Chaplow that he said, we played that way because out of necessity. We didn't really want to play that way. We played that way because we had to win. And if you look at the season when Coach Chaplow took over, it wasn't smooth, and we didn't win at first. We won that first game against San Diego, and then I think we had like a 2 or 3 game stretch that was pretty rocky, including I think another loss to Defiance. They're just our kryptonite, I guess. But then, the formation changed a little, the way we played changed a little bit, and that seemed to be what it took. And ultimately, it's a results business. And yeah, we all want our team to play, beautiful liquid football, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you just need to win.
You got the job done. Like, that's the only thing that matters. And, you've got the star above the crest and along those lines. So, that's all anybody's going to remember. And especially if you watch the final, it was a 3-1 match, so you had offensive there. And in the match against San Antonio, there were chances on both sides, just, both defenses played elite and kept up. So, I think early in the playoffs you saw that, but, I think, was it Damas, I believe it was, he was my MVP of the playoffs last year. If there is such a thing, how he, in my opinion, he's the reason why Orange County made the trek to the title and was able to win it. And I know it's a team thing, and I know you guys, I think listening to Orange and Black SoccerCast, I think you guys focused more a little bit on the defensive side, but without Ronaldo Damas, basically being at times a one-man show up top, like I said here, especially that Roots match where, dude, that kid just ran and dude, it was amazing to watch it, as a neutral. So, your thoughts on him moving overseas? We'll start with you, Andy.
We all knew that was coming. I don't think we knew it was going to happen in the way that it happened. But we knew from the beginning the plan was for him to move along. And then he went back home to Haiti in the off season and then basically couldn't get out. And as soon as we heard he couldn't get a visa. I shouldn't say he couldn't get out of Haiti. He couldn't come back to America.
The visa issues, yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as, privately we're hearing this, we're like, dude, we're never going to see him play again. There's no way. And then sure enough, before the season even started, I think probably the front office knew too, like, if he can't get here 2 weeks before the season, let's just move along as if he was here. So that was always the plan. I think it probably happened quicker than it probably would have happened based on, Eda Voltson went out early, Adam John went out early in 2021. So I don't think the plan was really for him to play as much as he played last year. It was, again, we played the way we played out of necessity, and, kudos to him for really stepping up to the challenge and, getting to do what he wants to do. But we all knew it was coming. It was just quicker than we thought.
Brad, any big changes that came in this year to Orange County?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest ones that I can mention, with the gutting of the forward position for Orange County is the signings of Milan Elasti and Cubo Torres. Those are the two people who have been playing up top for Orange County so far this year. And there's been a mixed reception of it. Cubo, I feel like, hasn't been – I mean, I think he's been exactly what I was personally expecting. I don't think he was in particularly good form when he left the MLS and came back to the LA area. He's not the same person he was when he played for, I believe it was Galaxy, right? Mm. He's not the same player as he was then, but he's definitely shown up, especially in the game against New Mexico United. The goal that we scored late in that game came off a Cubo Torres assist. Milan Elasti looks to be working his way into form himself too. He's definitely put in a lot of miles on the pitch so far this year. He's the player I think is the team's looking to fill that Ronaldo Damas role. I guess the thing that we're looking to see is can he start putting more balls into the back of the net, because Orange County's scored, I think, in outside of the Open Cup game that we just had this past week, I think they've scored a grand total of 4 goals so far this season?
Yeah, 4 goals. 1 against the Switchbacks, 2 at the late winner against RGV.
Yep.
And then you guys equaled late against New Mexico on the road.
Yeah, and of that, I believe Elasti scored 2 goals and Coley scored the other 2, right? And all of these goals, the earliest one is like the 67th or something minute or 76th minute or something crazy late in the game.
Andy, your thoughts on the offseason for Orange County? Anybody that, obviously from us on the outside, losing Ronaldo is the big one there, but anybody else that Orange County lost or brought in that is going to be a difference maker this year for them?
We got a young guy, I'm going to mess up his name, Alex Villanueva.
That's right.
Who I think came out of the Timbers organization, maybe, or Galaxy?
Tacoma.
Okay. And he has been just outstanding. He had a great game in the Open Cup the other night. So I kind of have my eye on him. He's quick and fast and has good vision and puts the ball in places that I couldn't think anybody could put a ball into. Clearly we've only seen him play a few games, but so far I'm really impressed, and I really want to see what he's able to do. It's no secret we've got the Elasti Brothers playing on our team, 2 of them at least. I understand there's several Elasti Brothers, but we've got 2 of them. Brian's out right now. He should be coming back soon. So I'm really curious to see what happens if both of those guys are playing together on the pitch at the same time. Brian is just absolutely magical with the ball, and the things that Milan Elasti can do are equally magical. He had great years. I can't remember where he played before, and I'm drawing a blank. Monarchs, I think, at one point, and I don't remember where else. But I mean, even the other night in the Open Cup, when he basically intercepted a goalie clearance to head it straight into the goal, I mean, it was fun to watch. So I can't wait to see those 2 guys on the pitch at the same time.
So results for this year, and I'll start out with you, Andy, because you were kind of vocal at the start of the year. Opening loss at Colorado Springs, which outside of Open Cup has proven to be a fairly good team, undefeated, perfect so far on the season for that here. You came home, hosted RGV, and then you went back on the road in a tough environment and got a draw against New Mexico. So your thoughts on Orange County through, this will be their 4th match that they played. 4 points so far on the young season, but your thoughts on how OCSC started out.
I think it's early, right? We've got new guys. We've got a different formation, so everybody's trying to learn the new formation. We're playing more of a 3-back instead of the 4-back like we had before. We can't just lob balls over the top and let Damas run onto them anymore, because that's not there. Nothing against the guys who are playing up top now, but I think few players in this league are as fast as Ronaldo Damas. So. Yeah. We just can't default to the long ball and let him run onto it anymore. I think we had and do still have a lot of things working against us, and that's okay. I guess it would be everybody. There's a lot of background stuff that I don't want to talk about. But why would you send someone to open on the road in Colorado Springs in the middle of March when it still snows on the ground. You know,
And you guys opened that stadium last year too, if memory serves me correct.
yeah, we did, but it was like mid-season by then, right? And it rained that day
It was
too.
a little bit later, yeah, because they kicked off mid-April-ish compared to early March this year.
It was not the beginning of the season. Whatever. The league's going to do what they want to do, and we could have a podcast alone on the stuff I know about what they do, but I'll just keep my mouth shut for now.
Brad, your thoughts on the season, and I know you got to go in a couple minutes. So, any final thoughts and that you have, because I know you got a hard out in about 4 minutes, and I don't want to get you in trouble with number one.
To be honest, it'll be interesting to see what Orange County shows up tonight, because the team that showed up on Tuesday this week in the Open Cup was so much different. They played aggressive. They played like they wanted to score the first, second, and third goals, which they did. They're very talented, and players that I didn't expect to step up stood up in big ways. Peterson had a really good game. Karede Osodina came on, and he was arguably the fastest guy on the pitch. He split two defenders and made a huge run. And if he starts going into good form, he's a former Barcelona Academy product, USA. If he starts to be in good form and starts getting some playing time, who knows? He might be a dark horse candidate to score 10 goals for the team if they can start getting him into the games. But if the team that has played the first 3 games, and given the first 3 games, we've had some very good competition going into Colorado Springs. They're projected to be a team looking to host playoff games this year. New Mexico United, I feel, has improved from last season. Yes. And they're looking to be a playoff contention team. And then you never know what type of team the Toros will field. They're not as bad as they look. These are not softball.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Maybe the Texan things, but 2 of those 3 teams you would consider to be not softball opponents, and 4 points in those 3 games, I'm super ecstatic about. I'm not going to complain about it. It's really more how those games have looked. Orange County's not scored, like I said earlier, goals in USL championship games earlier than like 67 minutes or something crazy. And if they can right the ship there and start getting into games earlier and scoring in the first 30 minutes, this team can be very dangerous in games.
Well, thank you, Bradley. Like I said, I know you got to go, and I don't want to get you in trouble because that doesn't help either one of us. So the next time, because we will have a return match here in San Antonio, and hopefully maybe in the playoffs once again, except the exception that it's here in San Antonio. But thank you for coming on, Bradley. We'll talk to you later. And like
yeah, of course. Always nice to be welcome, Harry. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye, guys.
So that was Bradley from Orange and Black SoccerCast. Like I said here, really good guy. Like I said here, it's one of the great hosts on there from there, and of course you can follow him at Pal on the Sky. For that here, he currently is in Reno. For that here, former Reno fan here. Like I said here, been a great friend going back multiple years now, I guess here, right, Andy?
Yeah, so I mean, we first started bumping into them with when they were on 1868 Weekly, and then I think it was 2018 we went up there for an away day, like opening day in Reno, and
somebody lost some hair if I remember right on that match.
Yeah, but no, that was a different game. I think.
Oh, it was a different one.
I think that was a game at Orange County, but that one, we flew up there in the morning mostly, and then Brad freaking drove us around in his car most of the day. It was really kind of him, so he's a good dude.
So moving to the matchup here. It looks like you guys run what, a 3-4-3?
Yeah, I
Looking at
guess.
kind of how a lot of the sites have their formation on. I know San Antonio runs kind of a 3-5-2-ish for it here. Although it looks like, depending on which team here, it probably looks very similar to how you guys have. Because sometimes we'll run two up top as opposed to just the one where you guys have Torres. Looking at it here. So it'll be kind of an interesting chess match with both playing three in the back and then to see who can control the midfield. But your kind of expectations for Orange County hosting San Antonio?
You always go in for a home win, right? I mean, that's the
goal.
That's always the expectation. Realistically, I think it's going to be a tight match on both sides. I think for Orange County, the key, which is probably the key I say every time, is don't concede early and don't concede late. Last season, that was the death of us, was conceding in the first 10 minutes or whatever, and then conceding in the last 10 minutes. And those are just not even so much heartbreaking for the team. Gosh, we just put in 80 minutes and we let one in. But even, it as a home fan and a guy who's really passionate about it with the home fans, casuals don't like to lose. So we need to win at home or the casuals stop showing up. So selfishly, I really hope we win for that reason. But, I think it'll be close.
Health-wise, how's that? Because I know for San Antonio, the big issue with them is they're missing a lot of depth up top. Looking at the injury report, Mane is going to be out. We know he's going to be out. David Lorera, the guy that's kind of been the spark plug for our offense, is questionable. Patino is still questionable, and Ates Diaf is questionable. But it looks like we'll have Collier and Dylan healthy, Deshane Beckford healthy. But it's that San Antonio's running into some issues with health-wise here. Orange County, how is that looking health-wise for you guys?
I mean, I haven't heard anything, but we had a week off, right? So we had a bye week last week, and then we had Open Cup Tuesday. So as far as I know, Brian Elasti was out for a couple weeks for something. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it was. I'll just say. I
don't need specific now. Just.
And then Brent Richards got hurt. I think in a preseason game against, of course, I'm pretty sure it was Galaxy, because all those guys know how to do is hurt our team. So I think he got hurt. He's been out a little bit, but predictably in USL, they don't really publish an injury report. So a lot of times you don't know what's wrong. You just know someone went out and didn't come back in. You didn't see him the next week. So I haven't heard about anybody being injured other than those two. It's possible someone got a knock or something in that Open Cup match, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see anybody go out. I think at this point, it's just a lot about rotation and making sure that everybody's getting the right amount of minutes, not just getting minutes. So we'll see. We did just loan out one of our youngsters. We loaned out a youngster and he promptly got hurt with the other team. So I guess we kind of dodged a
bullet on that one.
Yeah, maybe. He wasn't really playing for us anyway. We sent him off so he could get some time, and then I heard he got injured. It's kind of a bummer for him. I was hoping he could get some bulk minutes before he moved on to greener pastures. But I think we'll have a full roster. We'll see. Like Brad said, there's a lot of question marks still around Kubo. He seems like a great guy. He's a really good runs and vision, and he puts the ball into good places, but I think we were all kind of expecting him to score a lot, and we just haven't seen that yet. So we're still waiting for him to break the seal and then start hitting a lot of balls in. Ugo picked up 2 goals in the Open Cup match. And I know that, that's big for him. And I think you and I have said before, scoring is kind of infectious, I guess, for forwards. The more they score, they kind of get used to it, and they know these are the things I need to do to score. So it's nice when they start scoring, because that usually leads to more goals. So hoping that everybody's healthy and we get a good 90 minutes out of everybody.
So historically, and by historically, I'm talking about the last 2-3 years. Orange County's been a hot spot for youth to make the transition to overseas. Bradley mentioned and I'm sorry if I chop up his name, Corre Osundina, who's a forward here.
Caride Osadinha, I think is what it is.
So, is he kind of the next wonder kid that that Orange County's kind of helped develop to be able to transition him over to Europe or wherever his next destination is?
Yeah, I'm sure that's the plan for him. We actually have a couple in the pipeline. Caride is one of them. Kobe Henry playing on the senior national team, or at least getting called up. I don't think he actually got minutes. Got called up for camp. And then Francis Jacobs is rumored to be going off to Europe. I think a lot of these younger guys that we're picking up, whether they're knowns or unknowns, I think that's the plan. I think at this point we have put together a good process to get those guys where they want to go, because that's really what it is. They want to go there, and we are happy to facilitate that process. There's all these little esoteric rules about transfer fees and what academy you belong to. And if you get them young enough and you sign them to a pro contract, all that stuff disappears and you just get all the money yourself. And, a big transfer fee for a USL team is, a drop in the bucket for an MLS team. So I think that is at some level, becoming a draw. Younger guys want to come here and they want to do that. And, as fans, it's kind of a bummer. That was the thing with Damas, right? We wanted to see him for another year at least, and then off he goes to bigger and better things.
But it's at least for me, and we had this with Jose Gallegos. It's something that you can be proud of, especially if you've spent some time or made an impact on the club. I know we're was it Sunderland or not Sunderland, but Sondervisky, something like that. A team in the Superliga Danish in Denmark there.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I can't roll the R's or do the odd sounding words for them. But to me, it's something to take pride in, knowing that because you're developing a pathway, and to me that's only going to make San Antonio, it's only going to make Orange County, it's only going to make USL a better league, where and this is not to turn it into an anti-MLS show, where in MLS there's a little bit more difficult path to go overseas. Now there's some huge advantages going to MLS as well, so
for sure
that.
Yeah, I think between there's a couple teams that are doing that too. Like Tampa has done it with a couple people. We've done it. You guys have done it. And I think what that does is it also shows the other teams in the league, like, hey, there is value in developing these young guys and getting them solid playing time. And even if they don't get to play very much, just training with professionals. I'll never forget. I think it was pretty sure it was Francis Jacobs was talking about kind of those first few weeks of training with the first team and training with men, right? He was like a 15-year-old kid when we signed him, and all of a sudden now he's training with men whose soccer is their job and their livelihood, and that's all they do, and that's all they know how to. That sounds bad. That's all they do, and that's
what their passion is.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that's all they know how to do, and that's not what I meant at all. But just the mindset that it takes to be a professional at any level is completely different than playing high-level youth soccer, high-level high school soccer, even high-level college. It's not the same as playing professional. And everybody that's come in, that's one of the first things they say, and not just for our team, but any team that plays at the professional level. The focus and the intensity is it's ratcheted up, and I think that's the biggest thing to get these kids to go where they want to go and achieve what they want to achieve.
So your thoughts on the game? How do you see it working out? I'll go first. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. With San Antonio's injuries, I've got it as a Orange County 1-0 win. It wouldn't shock me if it's a 0-0 draw or a 1-1 draw. But if there's one team that if I knew Patino was going to be healthy, if I knew David wouldn't be healthy, I might make that change a little bit different. But where they're on the injury list, and especially where Open Cup's coming up, and I'll talk to you, just for a couple minutes about the Open Cup draws for both of our clubs, because both of us drew MLS sides. I have to think that, early in the season, while the games matter, especially this year where head-to-head is the first tiebreaker in goal difference, I do think that, if San Antonio can go in to Orange County, hang tight, very defensive, very low scoring game, et cetera. I just think Orange County is probably in a little bit better, healthier position at this point, especially after discussing with you that, and especially Orange County's, had a week to kind of prepare for San Antonio. Both played on Tuesday, so there's no advantage outside of that other than San Antonio happened to travel. I think 1-0 win for Orange County. I'm not going to do, Ray and do the 5-0 for San Antonio. I'm going to try to give honest, realistic predictions. But if you want to give a prediction or just kind of your thoughts on what it is, because I know you do more in the background for the Orange and Black SoccerCast.
Yeah, we were talking about this today with the supporters group, and a lot of guys are saying, like 2-1, 1-1, 1-0. So yeah, I agree. It's going to be. I predict it's going to be low scoring. We're not going to repeat Tuesday's Open Cup match. I'll be happy if we put in a good performance, right? I don't mind losing. I just don't like playing poorly. I don't like losing. I still want my team to win.
Right.
But if we play hard and we still lose, then that's what it is. For me, it's a lot of just please don't give up a late goal. Like those drive me crazy. You're leading 1-0 and then a single lapse in the 85th minute, and all of a sudden you're tied at 1-1. And if you've only scored one goal all game, you're probably not going to claw another one back to get out of that 1-1 draw. I think you're right. It'll probably be like a 1-goal game or a draw, and I'm cool with that. This early in the season, like you said, the points matter, but when you're learning a new formation, you got new guys that are trying to figure things out. It's always going to be bumpy in the beginning.
Where I think the points really matter on this here is that first tiebreaker of head-to-head, and I don't think a lot of, at least publicly, it doesn't seem like a lot of USL teams kind of acknowledge that, because you've seen some teams kind of get the lead and then kind of take the step back. I know San Antonio plays. We get the return match. I want to say it's later in the year, October. Yeah. Mid-October is when Orange County comes back. So by that point, it's going to be two completely different teams. At that point. So, and part of that's just due to injuries. Teams gelling better. San Antonio's had some turnover. Hopefully, they get people back. I'm assuming both teams will be bringing in people mid-season or so to kind of fill the holes that they have. Yeah. One other thing here, Open Cup draw today. I believe you guys drew LAFC at LAFC. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, if memory serves me right, there's not an I guess there used to be an affiliation with LAFC many, many years ago. Very loosely, like we had one with NYCFC, but I don't think really anything came of it outside of, hey, there's a loose affiliation. But fan base, I know on our Open Cup match against Austin, it's a little bit more personal. Just it's that one, at least on social media, is going to be a little bit more feisty. The relationship between Orange County and LAFC, kind of friendly between the groups, or?
We have a lot of LAFC and Galaxy fans in our supporter group, and I'm sure in the casuals there's a lot too. It's the curse of having two teams in your backyard, right?
Right.
Like,
Big
how do
markets,
we even survive as a second division team with two first division teams 30 miles away? I don't even understand how that works, but somehow it does. Yeah, I've been kind of razzing some of the guys. I don't really follow MLS, and not for any reason or political reasons. I just don't. I got enough brain power for one team at a time, and I'm good. But we're kind of razzing. I'm like, oh, who are you going to sit with? Oh, you're going to sit with us? You're going to sit with your LAFC friends?
half the game.
Yeah. So one guy says, oh, I'll wear my LAFC kit, and then I'll have an Orange County scarf or
Can't
something
do
like
that.
So yeah, we're excited about it. Hosting would have been cool, but yeah, it's what it is. And I don't know how that would have worked if we played at home. I couldn't find any numbers for the last LAFC game where they played a lower division team in Open Cup. I don't even know if they did last time they played.
I don't know if they have.
Galaxy played an amateur team in 2019, I guess it was 2018. I don't remember what year it was, but they played an open division team and they drew like 5,000 or something. They reported 5,000. Who knows how many people were actually there.
Yeah.
But that's like our max. Our stadium only seats like 5,000. So
yeah, I think LAFC's only had 1 year of Open Cup because they came in 2018, right?
Yeah, that was their first competitive year.
Oh, so two because 20. Yeah, so they played two. So they had 2018 and 2019, 2020 and 2021. There was no Open Cup, so they've had two attempts at it.
There were fewer professional teams in those years, so the draw would have been completely different. I think one year they might have played RSL.
So,
everybody's seen, lower division clubs on ESPN for the Open Cup, and they hardly draw even compared to their normal draw. We had, a few hundred people at our game, and it's Tuesday night, whatever. I always joke that the Open Cup's the biggest tournament nobody's ever heard of. So, people don't show up, and that's just what it is. And other people are going to talk crap and run their mouths. But I've watched your games too, and I saw how many people didn't show up to your game.
So, to me, it's they announced 2,100 there only on the west side for here. I can almost guarantee you that Toyota Field will be a sellout, on April 20th when Austin FC and San Antonio FC play.
For sure.
Because this is a match that San Antonio fans want, and this is a match that Austin FC wants. And I'll admit it here, I almost wanted the match at Q2 just because Austin FC will travel, as much as I hate how they came into the league, you have to give them credit that once they've been in the league, the support that they've got from Austin Anthem, Los Verdes, all the Austin FC fans, it's impressive. And I attended a match last year, and it was a great environment. And like I said here, I don't, like I put out here earlier, just, to kind of warn Austin FC fans, hey, it's nothing against you guys, but I'm sorry I can't support your owner. And, I don't like the, I have many issues. I have a complicated relationship with MLS, as I say, for that here. But, as far as it, on April 20th, which, it's 7:30 here, here Central Time, 5:30 your time out in California. To me, that will be a fun match. I know I've already told San Antonio FC, not that they listen to me, but, I do know that they review things because, I have been contacted. Hey, are you all right? Is everything okay? From SAFC and other people as far as pushing things too far, I guess you could say sometimes. So it's, for a San Antonio fan, it'll be an interesting balance because we play El Paso that Saturday at home, Austin on I think that's a Wednesday, right? I believe a Wednesday, and then we play at New Mexico on that following Saturday. So, but and you know this as a USL fan, do you do like what New Mexico did and jump deep in? And let's be honest, if you do a deep run in the Open Cup, that typically impacts your USL season.
Sure.
Just because once you start getting deeper and deeper, you're not going to be doing the player rotation now. With this one being Austin FC, San Antonio, as a fan base, and this goes for both Austin FC and Dallas, and San Antonio, they don't want a rotated roster. Now I know Austin FC will probably rotate just because their reserves are most likely better than our starters, or at least that's the perception.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. I'm interested to kind of see how Orange County turns out, for the match there. I wish it would have been at Championship Park for that here. So, I think that would have been a fun way to kind of reward, the Orange County fans, because, obviously not much of a travel between, LAFC and Orange County outside of traffic, but final thoughts there, Andy. Like I said here, thank you for coming on. Like I said here, I know you do a lot with the Orange and Black SoccerCast. You're like me, all over the USL social medias with the USL show in the background, heckling the guys. If you do want to watch the Orange and Black SoccerCast, it's typically on Tuesday nights at 10:30 here Central Time, 8:30 in California. Ray does a great job hosting it. Unlike me, he keeps the show to an hour, where I typically go a little bit longer for that here. But Ray has been a good friend, to both of us for that here. But and he puts on such a great show, and has for many years. He's one of the OGs of the soccer podcasts, for USL. So please tune in to Orange and Black SoccerCast. I know you can get it YouTube on their channel. And then, obviously, any major podcast platform, I believe it is on. And of course, you can give it a like and review, both to SA Soccer Roundtable and Orange County SoccerCast. That is a huge benefit for both of us. But final thoughts for you, Andy?
I'm looking forward to Saturday. It should be a fun match either way. They're having a birthday party for our new mascot before the game. So, come on out and enjoy the carnival stuff and see how that is. That October game, the wife and I are talking about coming out for that. So I'll have to let you know if we actually end up making it. So yeah, thanks for having me on tonight. It's been fun. Thanks for keeping it under an hour. I think the last time you and I started talking, it was like an hour and a half, and wow, that's a long podcast for anybody.
Yeah, ours go about an hour and a half, because it just. But on this show here, I try to keep it less than an hour. If Bradley wouldn't have been on, I think would have been close. It probably would have shaved about 10 minutes on. But
sure, no problem. Thanks for having me.
For there, but like I said, it was a pleasure having you on, Andy. Good luck this week, sort of. Hope both teams put out a good performance. I'm all right with the tie. Obviously I'm on the road. You want the 3 points at home. Completely understand. So. But this is, what's life without goals. Hope everybody has a great weekend. And like I said here, if you're in the San Antonio area, keep following SA Soccer Roundtable. I know Rafa and the 50-50 podcast with Coach Kano are out supporting the UIL playoffs. The regional finals are, I think most of them are wrapping up for the day today. And then the regional finals will be tomorrow, midday. And I know Rafa and Coach Kano will be out. I don't think they're doing live video on it because they can't, but I think you may still be able to catch them on audio. So thank you for tuning in, and what's life without goals?